Welcome back to the most low budget, low production value, kind of shitty, magic building series, I guess is what I'll call it. So we're on our third episode. It's been a little while since I've posted. Life's been busy. Um, but I think I did blue first. I did the budget mill blue deck. Then I did the basic like budget green stompy deck. And now we're gonna do a budget white build. I don't know what you'd call this. If it's just control stacks, there's only really technically like one stacks thing. So I'm gonna say this is more like control oriented, in a different way than using stacks. And it's been a little while since I did this deck build, so forgive me. Maybe I don't remember exactly every little thing I did in the build. I did just go through all the cards to double check what I did. It makes sense to me, but sometimes my brain in the moment's like, okay, so if I connect this dot to that dot and then this dot reappears, then I can solve quantum physics. And it's like, yeah, and then after the fact, I'm like, the fuck did I do to this? So we'll go through it, see how it is. But I think I'm getting the gist of what I had going on here. So we'll start with the commander, obviously. Actually, let me see. Can I set this up? There's a way to do it. Is it table? No. Grid? Yes. Alright, this is better for looking at the cards than the last few videos I've done. And you can see them better. You can read them better. So, we have our budget mono white control-ish deck, I guess. Which is funny because I'm primarily a white player, so you'd think I'd know what I'm doing, but I'm way more casual than you might think. Or you probably do think. I'm very casual. But, anyways, our commander is 8.5 tails. It's 2 white mana to cast 2/2. And it is, well, its abilities are you pay 1 colorless, 1 white. Target permanent you control gains protection from white until end of turn, and then you can pay 1 more just colorless mana or any mana. Target spell or permanent becomes white until end of turn. So that's kind of where the control part comes into this deck. I have some things to help support that, I think, in my Anthem section here. Um, but that's where the control comes in. It's like control through protection. I think is kind of the idea. You can make spells fizzle. It's like, oh, I'm gonna cast this fucking fireball. Okay, well, I'll give my shit protection, and then make that white. It doesn't do anything. Go fuck yourself. So you can start wasting people's resources from a more permanent resource. Something like counterspell. You use one spell to stop one spell. It's an equal exchange. Even though, I mean, I won't say it's equal because you can cast a two mana counter spell to stop an 8 mana spell, which is kind of stupid. But I digress. I'm a white control player that hates blue control players because I think their version of control is made for kindergartners. But that's fine. I'm just throwing some shots, bro. All right, you're okay, blue. You're okay. Don't stop. Just stop eating the crayons. It's fine. Just go back to farting in the bathtub. But no. So that's the idea. So protect. You have a more sustained version of protection um, for um, yourself. So and it says target permanent you control. So it doesn't say other permanent you control. So I'm assuming you can. And maybe somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure you could do it to itself. It can give itself protection from white, and then target spell or permanent becomes white. So like, it doesn't say other permanents. It says target permanent you control. So I don't see why it can't target itself on this. Maybe that's some other magic shit or rules that I don't understand or know well. So if I am wrong on that, please feel free to fucking correct me, because I don't want to eventually buy this deck and then fucking try doing that. People are like, "What are you fucking stupid?" But I digress. So we'll keep this in mind. Just keep this idea in mind, and we'll kind of go through everything. All right. So in our anthem, we have maybe it wasn't the anthem section, it might be the blink section. Yeah, yeah. So For the Anthem here, we have 3 white. On the Human Knight here, it's a 3/3. On Banalish Marshal, we have other creatures you control get +1/+1. The reason for that, and the reason for pretty much all this Anthem, is there's a lot of token generation in this deck, or a decent amount. So we want ways to be able to buff them. So here we have this guy. He's a 6 mana Krovax Ascendant Hero. He's a 4/4. Other white creatures get +1/+1. Non-white creatures get -1/-1. So, now the thing with this is, if you're playing, this is kind of more of like middle of the road, kind of more risky. I could see pulling this card out of the deck and replacing it with a different Anthem piece, which I may do in the future. I don't know, but it's kind of a benefit and a non-benefit. So like, if you're playing an opponent that also has white, well, all their stuff gets buffed. So you're like, well, fuck. And they probably, knowing how, at least the way I play white players tend to buff their shit with Anthem pieces because white has a lot of it. At least that's how I do things. But this also can work the other way, where if you have an opponent that's doing red, maybe black, I mean, everything can create tokens, I guess. Green, you could be basically stopping them from building 1/1 tokens, and then making every other kind of token weaker. A 2/2 now becomes a 1/1, a 3/3 now becomes a 2/2, so on and so forth. So you can pretty much shut down non-white opponents from having 1/1 tokens to produce, which tends to be a pretty popular token type to produce. A 1/1 whatever, saprolings, zombies maybe, whatever. And then you just make everything else weaker for them. Sorry for the squeaky chair. Again, I said this is low production. Your boy don't have no fancy fucking chair out here. And this thing has been worn out to death. But we also have pay 2 life, and I can return it to the hero to the owner's hand. So this could also be a situation where someone's going to attack you with their white creatures, and then you can pay 2 life, pull them back to your hand. That effect goes away, and now all their potentially 2/2 or 3/3 tokens or whatever, or even just regular creatures, now lose that 1/1 ability, which might be enough for you to be able to block them and kill them and put them in a bad situation. So there is that deterrent, I think, to some extent. Now it all depends on the state of the board. If somebody's got a bunch of crazy shit built up, they're probably not going to care about that +1/+1 you're giving them. They probably already have other ways of doing it. So just keep that in mind. But that is kind of a deterrent, at least I think in earlier game, if you can get it out. So we have the Divine Sacrament. It's constant 3 mana altogether. It's an enchantment. White creatures get +1/+1. You have Threshold. White creatures get an additional +1/+1 as long as 7 or more cards are in the graveyard. Again, this applies to all white creatures. This works in my pod, I'll say, because nobody else really plays white in my pod that much. One other guy will play like white and black sometimes. But most of the time, I'm really the only guy committing to playing white. Even if you're doing dual color, I play a lot of white and green or white and red. It works for me. If you're in a fucking pod playing with a bunch of other people playing white, like, hey, everybody's got white in their deck, maybe this one take it out, and this one could potentially need to be replaced. And then there's other stuff like this one where it just says other creatures you control get +1/+1. I'm pretty sure there's other things of that manner in there. So just, look for those instead. But this is what I have for my personal thing. But, everything's different. Feel free to change these 2 cards I would suggest out. Anyways, we have True Conviction. I love this card. This is probably one of my top favorite enchantments in the game. It does cost 6 mana to cast, but creatures you control have double strike and lifelink. I love it because I use it. I really save it for late game token builds that I do typically. I build tokens in every fucking deck I play, to be honest with you, to some degree. Some heavier, some just there to build, slowly accumulate. It's like fucking. Sometimes it's like betting on shitty meme coins and hoping for the best, and other times it's like I'm investing into a stock portfolio, a long-term Roth IRA when it comes to playing with tokens, but nonetheless, it still happens. Um, but yeah, just creatures you control have double strike and lifelink. So you have, let's say you're buffing things 4. You got 4 plus 4. 4 plus 1 plus 1s on your creatures. If you got 1/1 tokens, you now have a bunch of 5/5s, give them double strike and lifelink. Now you're getting 10 out of them, and they're giving you 10 health as well. So if you've got 10 of them on the field, okay, cool, you just gained 100 life. So that's fucking cool. Now, some people will instantly try to blow this up. But that's where, again, this comes into play, right? You can protect all this shit with this. So keep that in mind. Alright, we'll move on to the blink. We have this guy, which could be replaced now when I went back and looked at him. But it's 5 mana. Abdel Adrian Gorion's Ward. Please just accept that I'm going to say a lot of these names wrong. I'm not the best with it, but when Abdel or Adrian is probably the name here, dumbass. Gorion's Ward enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you control until Abdel Adrian leaves the battlefield. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token for each permanent exile this way. So this allows any kind of protection as well, in my opinion. It's mass protection. And then you can just, where's it at? This guy here. Yeah. Dumb. It's right next to him. This kind of works in tandem together. Livio, Oathsworn Sentinel, costs 2 mana. You can pay 2 mana, choose another target creature. Bam. Its controller makes exile with an Aegis counter on it. Bam. Then you can pay 2 and tap. Return all exile cards with Aegis counters on them to the battlefield under control. So, you can do this with multiple things, but you can have him enter, and then, I'm going to exile all this, my 5 cards over here, and then blink his ass with this guy. He'll leave, they'll all return, and then he'll also create them, and then you just blink, and then he comes back in. And then he fucking does it again. And then it's just this back and forth token creation. So yeah, you blink these guys together. This is how they are used together. Is you fucking blink him, he leaves, shit hits the field again, creates tokens, he comes back, exile, same shit, blink him again, creates tokens. It's this endless cycle if you can get it going, of just blinking him and getting tokens, blinking him, getting tokens, blinking him, getting tokens, blinking him, getting tokens. So yeah, it's cool. Now we have counters. Alright, so we have this guy, Nykthos Paragon, which I do have in another deck, I think, yeah, in my soldier deck. But he's a 6 mana, 4/6. Whenever you gain life, you may put that many 1/1 counters on each creature you control. Do this only once each turn. Well, we have some life gain here. I have some other ways to gain life as well. That can kind of play in tandem off of this whole scenario. So if it's like, gained 5 life, everything gets 5 1/1 counters. Okay, cool. So then it's like, alright, you're already giving them 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Potentially, we'll say 3 or 4 with this card. Let's say 4. And then it's like, okay, cool, you gain 5 life. Alright, so 5 plus 4 is 9, plus the thing's already a 1/1, now you're at 10. You have that double strike, that's 20. If there's 10 of them, that's 200 life. Bam. Math. It's crazy. It's getting wild out here. Fucking Magic the Gathering is just a math simulator. But yeah, so that's also nothing. Remember, you can protect these things. How? With this fucking shit right here. This shit, and the fact that none of this is a tap ability. That's what I love about this. None of it's a tap ability. You can just keep doing it. And that's why we have a decent amount of ramp things in here, because you only need 1 white to cast any of this. The rest can be colorless mana. So keep that in mind. And we have our draw. We have Arcane Encyclopedia, pay 3, tap, draw a card. Dawn of Hope. We have whenever you gain life, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card, which we have multiple ways to gain life. We can also use it as another way to produce tokens. So you can pay 3 plus the white and white, create a white 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. There you go. See, so it does multiple things. It allows you to draw cards and create tokens, which I always like when my cards do multiple things, or at least have multiple options to do things. You know, it's always cool to have a card that's like, hey, you can destroy this, or you can discard this card to draw a card. So it's like you're getting double the value out of it. I mean, this thing only costs 2 fucking white mana to cast, so, or 2 mana in general. This one we have Ellen Harbreeze Busybody, 4 mana. It's a 2/4. Tap, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of tokens you created this turn, which that's kind of the whole point in this, is creating tokens. Put one of those cards into your hand, the rest on the bottom of your library in any random order. So here's kind of your tutoring, your roundabout way of tutoring. You know, compared to like, cast this spell, go search your deck for this exact thing. You can at least go, well, I created 5 tokens this turn, I get to look at the top 5 cards in my library, then, you know, go from there. So it allows a better chance of, maybe you need land. Cool. Maybe you look through and you go, fuck, I really need one of my mana ramp pieces right now. Perfect. You know, it allows just a little more, a little less chaos, a little more consistency, without being like broken, in my opinion, where it's like, you know, oh, I've got my deck just full of 20 tutors just so I can get a two combo piece fucking thing off in turn 3 to win. That shit's boring. I don't like playing Magic like that. I like games that are drawn out a little more. I've played games that have lasted up to 15, 20 turns before. Sounds crazy, I know, but I like slow paced Magic. Even with red players, like, you know, can I sustain myself long enough for them to burn out? Shit like that. But anyways, Endless Atlas, 2 mana. Pay 2, tap, draw a card. Activate only if you control 3 or more lands with the same name. Plains, obviously. Just an easy, cheap thing to get out. Pretty cheap to get going. And it allows you to draw a card. Golden Egg. Now, this is something, let me see. Oh, okay, yeah. So, we can use this guy to exile Golden Egg, which, when it enters battlefield, it draws a card. Let me see. I think there's some other thing. This thing as well. You can use him to blink those 2 things whenever he enters. They leave. Then you bring him back. Then he comes back. Then he's gonna fucking exile those cards again. And then you know, basically it's the little engine here. They leave, they come back. They leave, they come back. And that's the beauty of them. Is like, I don't think until you start moving around with this stuff, most people are probably not going to want to waste a spell blowing up this artifact. I know it does draw a card, but it's like, are you going to waste your 4 mana exile spell or like whatever on just blowing this thing up? Probably not. And if you go to blow it up, I'm just going to then sacrifice it or blink it again or give it protection from this. So you're going to probably waste your spell, and I'm just going to fizzle it and still keep doing this pretty cheap thing. Because once this is cast, it's 2 mana, 3 mana, and then you can just keep exiling old boy. And then he comes back, and then he exiles these, and then they come back, and you just keep drawing cards off them. So that's a fun little thing to do. Then we have Lore Seeker Stone. This costs 6 mana. You can tap it. Pay 3 and tap, draw 3 cards. Ability costs 1 more to activate for each card in your hand. Hopefully, this is just, I guess, really just another big option. If you're down to fucking 2 cards in your hand, and you can get this on the field, you can draw 3 and pay 2. So you pay 5 mana, but you're drawing 3 cards. So it's kind of a, you know, it's higher cost, but you get more out of it, obviously. So just keep that in mind. I don't think this will be your main way of doing it, but it is an option. And it's a cheap option. Remember, these are budget builds, so I'm trying to come up with stuff that's budget builds, and I'm also not trying to like just feed you the same shit over and over and over and over and over again, where it's like, put Soul Ring, put fucking Arcane Signet, you know, even Endless Atlas ends up in a lot of these deck builds just because it's not that expensive. It's $3, you know, and Arcane Encyclopedia, but I just don't want to keep feeding you the same exact shit. I want to find the fun roundabout ways of doing stuff where I can and when I can. Anyways, we have Platoon Dispenser. It costs 5 mana. It's a 4/6 creature. It's an artifact creature construct. Beginning of your end step, if you control 2 or more other creatures, draw a card, which you will be because you'll be creating tokens. You can also create colorless tokens, and they also have Unearth. God, I don't know what that is. To be honest with you, I don't know what Unearth does. Let's. I don't know. Um, yeah, what the does anybody know? Okay, if you know what Unearth does, which I can just look it up. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna look it up on my phone right now. Give me 1 second. I'll be back. Okay, I now know what it is. Alright, Unearth is a keyword ability in a Magic the Gathering that allows you to return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, giving it haste, and then exiling it at the beginning of your next end step. Okay, so you get if something dies, you can bring it back, and then put it back on the battlefield, but you have to exile it afterwards. So, okay, cool. I don't see why this would have Unearth. I don't think it's that good to bring this back for 4 mana. Then you'd have to pay another 4 mana. I mean, I guess the end step you can maybe draw a card off of it, but I don't know if that's worth the 4 mana. But maybe it'll be useful. I'm more focused on the card draw and then creating tokens when you can. Anyways, Seer Sundial, 4 mana, landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2 mana. If you do, draw a card. Simple. Simple. We already went over this guy. Enters the battlefield, draw a card. We can blink them back and forth. Staff of Nin, 6 mana, but you just get it to get an extra card draw at the beginning of your turn, and you can just tap it to deal 1 damage to any target. You can kill tokens, maybe kill 1/1 creatures, stuff like that. So, planeswalkers potentially. So Staff of Nin is just cool. It's pretty low cost, high mana cost, low money cost, and it's just hey, every turn you're drawing 2 cards now instead of 1. So. We have our finishers, I guess is what this stuff calls it. But this big boy, I like just shoving him in decks sometimes just because he's funny. He's fun to have. I've won out of that green Stompy budget deck. I bought that not too long ago, and I won a game based on this guy because I got him up to the 2020, and then I had another enchantment that I put on him that brought him up to like an extra 15. So he's like 35, and he's indestructible and just stomping ass the whole time. So it was cool. But yeah, that's what he does. Defender Indestructible, 10/10. You can do 10 mana to make a Monstrosity 10, which makes him 20/20. Then he can now attack, and he has Trample instead of just being Defender. So he's indestructible, and he has Trample, and he can attack. It could be a high mana cost, but if you're putting it in the right ramp, it'll work. It'll work good. And then we have Dawn Glare Invoker. It's a 3 mana, 2/1. Has flying, and then you can just pay 8 mana and tap all creatures target player control. This is definitely an in-game finisher that you're going to want to save. You don't want to just play this thing right away. I want you to make sure you've got a board state to work with first, and make sure you have the spare mana to put this thing down, activate its ability, and be able to protect it with your commander's protection, which is going to cost you 3 mana. 3 mana for sure. But there's a good chance this can get you targeted, guaranteed. Especially at the right pod. I know in my pod this card would probably get me targeted for sure. But besides that, it doesn't matter. It's fun, seems cool. Again, high amount of cost, but a lot of value coming out of that cost. And again, if you're mana ramping, it doesn't cost you 8 white mana, it just costs you 8 mana. If you got the right amount of mana ramp out, you can really do something with this. So, yeah, cool. We have our land, 35 planes, cheap mana base. We're doing budget builds here. We have Mistfall Plains. You can pay 1 white and tap to put target card from your graveyard on the bottom of your library. Activate this ability only if you control 2 or more other white permanents. So again, this just kind of gives you a little bit of recursion. It doesn't go where you want it to go, which is maybe the top, but it's back in your deck. There's chances for shuffling to happen. There's chances for like the what is it? This right here. You can maybe start really getting it back up to the top of your deck pretty decently fast. So I do like having that in there just for an extra option, right? They could be 36 planes, but hey, here's an option to at least put it back in your deck. It's better in your deck than it is in your graveyard, unless you're a black player. Then go fucking nuts on your graveyard play. But yeah. Life gain, we have Angel of Renewal. I fucking love this card. I love angels. I think they're fun. They always have a high mana cost, not nearly as high of a power and toughness as I would like, but they always have these fucking fun, just, in my opinion, great fucking value things. So, when it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life for each creature you control. So, remember, we're doing token builds here. It doesn't say non-token creatures, it just says creatures you control. If you got 20 tokens and let's say 5 other creatures, well, you just gain 25 life. And choose another target. Oh, wow, another target creature. Wow, maybe we can, I don't know, blink it and then bring it back and then gain 25 life again and then blink it and gain it back and gain 25 life again. So, yeah, that's just a great little, again, can be useful even if you only got, like, let's say 5 tokens on the battlefield. Well, 5 life gain is pretty good. But again, just be smart. You know, you're playing protection here, but you need to learn how to play protection and sustain yourself. This isn't like a permanent, like, oh, I could just protect anything all the time. These things do cost mana. 3 mana every time to do it isn't cheap. It's not expensive, but it isn't cheap either. So you need to be mindful about what you're doing it with. This is why I also have the blink options here. You can just pay the 2, let it leave for a while, and then bring it back for 2 later, or 3 later, my bad. But it's not like has to happen right then and there. You can just blink it, leave it out for a while, and then bring it back whenever you want. So, yeah, keep that in mind. But remember, you know, Magic, there's no perfect way to do this. You can maybe do it on $1,000 decks where you can somehow blink everything for 0 mana constantly as many times as you want, you win, blah, blah, blah. But we're doing budget builds. Mana resource management is going to be important still, so just keep in mind what's important at the time of your board state and what you can predict to be important in your board state later. That's why sometimes I'll save fucking cards for way later. I'll save them. I'll have it in my hand like from the start, and I go, I know this is not useful right now, and I just keep saving it, and go, yep, here's the time to do it now, and then I play it. So just remember resource management. But yeah, cool, you know, fun shit here. We have Angel of Vitality, 3 mana, it's a 2/2. Flying, if you would gain life, you gain that much life plus 1 instead, so this would turn 25 life into 26 life. So yeah, Angel of Vitality gets +2/+2 as long as you have 25 life or more. If you're playing Commander, which is what this deck's built, yes, you have 40. So, and we have a lot of life gain here. More than likely, this thing's going to become a 4/4. So you get a 4/4 for 3 mana with flying, and you also gain 1 extra life off of anything. So just extra fucking, you know, value. It's always fun for a 79-cent. Oh god, for a 79-cent fucking price tag, or $28 price, or 28 cents price tag. This is a good little piece of value for a budget build. We have next Daxos, Blessed by the Sun, costs 2 white mana. It's a 2 and then a slash and then a star. Its toughness is equal to your devotion on white, so the more shit you have with this little symbol in it, the little plains white mana symbol in it, well, the better off you're doing. Yeah, so you have more toughness. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain 1 life. We're producing tokens, brother. We're producing tokens. They're gonna die. They're not gonna die. They're gonna die. They're not gonna die. Like, it's gonna keep happening. You're just gonna be fucking feeding the meat grinder your tokens as needed, and you're gonna be gaining life every time they get produced and every time they die. So, at that point, every one soldier token you look at, you should also assign a 2 life value to. Every time. It's going to give you 2 life every single time it enters and then dies. Enters and then dies. Enters and then dies. So every token has 2 life gained attached to it when he's on the field. Just think about it in that way. Then we have Gerald Caption. He's actually in one of my soldier deck. Gerard Capuchin. He's 5 mana. He's a 3/4, and he says at the beginning of your upkeep, you gain 1 life for each card in your target opponent's hand. You can then pay 4 mana to tap target creature, activate his ability only if he is attacking. So you have multiple value here. Again, it's like if you gain 5 life, it's better than not gaining 5 life. I would rather gain as much life as I fucking can. Sometimes it discourages people enough that they just give up. I've had that happen where I'm like, hey, I have 182 life now. Like, what are you going to do? Now I'm guessing in higher, like CEDH, that's probably not that big of a deal for some people if they can just mill the shit out of you. But I have been able to get wins off people just giving up because of the amount of life I have. So that's cool. So yeah, you gain 1 life for each, and then multiple value here. You can tap a target creature, so that's cool. We have Linden, the Steadfast Queen. She costs 3 white mana. She's a 3/3. She has Vigilance, and whenever a white creature you control attacks, you gain 1 life. Remember, you're using tokens here. This is more of a protective defensive build. Wear down your opponents, fizzle out their spells, buff your tokens so they can take hits and kill people's creatures, and just wear out their resources. But at some point you gotta attack, you know. And if you got this bitch, tap all target creatures. You tap them, you swing out with 20 tokens, you gain 20 life. Pretty nice. So cool. We're moving on to protection. I'm going to try to speed run through some of this because I know it's taking a while to do this. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. 2/4, and we have cost 4 mana. And it's Baird or Bard, Steward of Argive. But yes, so that's good. You're getting them to pay attacks. Here's where that protection comes in, as like kind of the form of attacks on people. So that for every creature they attack you with, they have to pay 1 mana. So if they've only got 5 mana, they can only attack you with 5 creatures. And do they want to waste that 5 mana on that or save it for somebody else? This is kind of a deterrent in that way. Then next we have Champions of Minas Tirith. I'm bad at this. 6 mana, 4/6. When Champions of Minas Tirith enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. At the beginning of combat, on each opponent's turn, if you're the Monarch, that opponent may pay X, where X is the number of cards in their hand. If they don't, they can't attack you in this combat. So again, when you're playing Commander, people are trying to do card draw. They're trying to get card advantage. They're trying to get card draw engines down. Boom, 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 boom. Well, if you got fucking, 6 cards in your hand, you got to pay 6 mana to attack me. You got to pay me attacks to attack me. Again, it's a deterrent. If there's another fucking somebody else that maybe even has equal creatures to you. Alright, so yeah, if you have someone who has even equal amount of creatures to you, they're in the same kind of defensive position you are. They have like the same ability to project power that you do. But it's not going to cost the guy looking to attack somebody 6 mana to attack them. They're going to probably attack them instead of you. So it's kind of a deterrent that way as well. In my opinion, people to try to fucking blow these two things up as quickly as they can, because it's a pain in the ass. That's where you fizzle them out with your commander. But anyways, we have Coalition Honor Guard. It's 4 mana, 2/4. I like this one. So while choosing targets as a part of casting a spell or activating an ability, your opponent must choose at least 1 flag bearer on the battlefield if able. Well, you are a human flag bearer. So what that means is someone's looking to cast a spell, they have to target your shit, which is fine because you can then just make it fizzle with your commander. Just make it fizzle. Oh, you have to choose it to fucking target this guy when you activate that ability. That's fine. I'll just fizzle it out. So it's kind of pulling all of the... Now, this can be, kind of bad. It's like you're basically forcing everyone to target you. Which means, like, even if... It can be non-beneficial because someone could be trying to blow up somebody else's big fucking creature, or big fucking game finisher, and you're the dickhead with the flag bearer out. They're like, yeah, but I have to target the flag bearer, so then they have to target you. You could try to flash them or blink them first. If somebody's going to make a big move, this is where politicking comes in. Like, hey man, I'm about to blow up his fucking other game, his combo piece. I need you to get that fucking flag bearer off the field. Okay, cool. I'll blink him if I can. But this is where politicking comes in. This is where psychology comes in too. If people are constantly having to fucking target you, it's going to do one of two things depending on the person. They're going to get pissed and then they're going to purposefully start targeting you, or they're going to be like, damn, we've been like psychologically, they're like, damn, like we've been hitting all of our spells at him this whole time. Maybe I should just leave him alone and go after somebody else. But you're just using this to waste resources is the idea. It may turn out shitty. It may turn out great. I think it's going to depend game to game and even turn to turn, situation to situation. But it's fun. I like the idea of it. It's funny. So yeah, let's go with that. Gilren, Doomdane Protector. She's kind of a baddie. But we got 3 mana, 2/3. You can pay 2, tap it, exile another target creature you control. You may return that card onto the battlefield under its owner's control. If you don't, at the beginning of your next end step, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control with a vigilance counter and a lifelink counter. So, this is a way to also blink things, blink something, but it also allows you to leave it blinked, especially if you don't need it at the time, and then have it come back with vigilance and lifelink. So, give it some more permanent sustainability. Counters are counters. Unless you have a way to remove the counter, it's going to be there. And most people don't play a way to remove counters, so just assume it's going to be there. So extra value, but also you can blink and then give the thing you blinked extra value by having lifelink and vigilance. So there you go. Hero of Gomafada costs 5 mana. It's a 4/3. Has rally whenever Hero of Gomafada or another ally enters the battlefield under your control. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So I don't have any other allies in this deck. That's not what this is for. This is for, hey, blink his ass, right? Blink his ass. Blink his ass as many times as you can whenever you need, and then just have him pop back up. And guess what? Everything you own now has indestructible. You blink him, he comes back, everything. Creatures you control gain indestructible, which includes him. It doesn't say other creatures, it just says creatures, so he also gets indestructible. So here is a more permanent protection spell. What's that one? Root-born defense, I think is the name of it. Something like that. Everything gets indestructible, all your creatures. So it's like, oh fuck, you're gonna blow up my 30 tokens with your board wipe. No, don't do that. Fuck off. So that's what that's for. And we have High Ground. Costs 1 white mana, and each creature you control can block an additional creature. That's just helpful. Again, this allows you to sustain defense a bit better. If you've only got 5 tokens on the field and you're trying to defend yourself against somebody, even if you're going to lose those tokens, if you can produce another 5 the next turn, well, you can keep yourself sustained. If somebody's going to attack you with 10 creatures, though, you can't really sustain that. So, if your 5 tokens can block 2 creatures apiece, well, now you have a better chance of sustaining and defending yourself while you set up other stuff on the board. So, anyways, ramp. We have 11 different ways to ramp. We have Bounty Board. It costs 3 mana. Add 1 mana of any color. When you tap it, you can pay 1 and tap it to put a bounty counter to target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. And you have whenever a creature with a bounty counter it dies, each of its controller's opponents draw a card and gains 2 lives. So, this can allow you to put assign value other places so people do leave you the fuck alone. It also allows you to gain, draw a card and gain 2 life, right? So you can literally put it on a 1/1 creature token, right, that somebody has, and then you can tap the Staff of Nin and blow it up. Now, this will be allowing you to do kind of some group huggy shit, where your other opponents will also be drawing a card and gaining 2 life. But the idea here is to destroy their other ways as best you can of them drawing cards, like artifacts and stuff, and enchantments. And yeah, if they can draw a card, cool, but if you're drawing this card and gaining your 2 life, but you have a bunch of other ways to gain life and a bunch of other ways to draw cards and keeping your opponents from doing those things, you can still keep your card advantage. But it's group hugging. People are going to be a little less willing to attack you if you're like, hey guys, I'm putting this bounty on this 1/1. Let's blow it up. Cool, we blow it up. We all draw a card. I'm putting this on this guy's piece here. It looks threatening. We should do something about that. They destroy it. You all draw cards against your life. So you can kind of turn the board away from you against somebody else in that way. Then you have Darksteel Ingot. Indestructible, add 1 mana of any color. That's always good. Dreamstone Hedron, this costs 6 mana, but you can produce 3. And you can also sacrifice it to draw 3 cards if you ever need to. Gold Mirror, 2 mana, 1/1. Tap it to add 1 white mana. Hedron Archive, 4 mana. You can tap it to add 2 mana. You can also sacrifice it to draw 2 cards. Manalith, 3 mana. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Mind Stone, 2 mana. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color. You can also sacrifice to draw a card. There's your dual value I've always talked about. Just always have a chance to get dual value when you can, if it's affordable mana-wise. 3 mana for the Palladium Mirror. Tap it, add 2 colorless mana. Sisai's Ring. 4 mana, tap it to add 2 colorless. Golem's Eye, 4 mana. Tap it to add 2 mana to your mana pool. And more Power Stone, 3 mana. Enters the battlefield tapped, but you can tap it to add 2 mana, 2 colorless mana. So here's 11 mana ramps right here. 11 different ways to mana ramp. So I think that's a decent amount here, and there's a good chance you'll start to be able to get a couple of them out later in game. We have some recursion, Aromancer. When it enters, you return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Well, let's blink this bitch over and over again. Just return all of our enchantments back to our hand when we need to. You can just use her to blink. You can blink her, protect her if somebody tries to blow her up with your commander, but you can blink her, have her re-enter. Bam! You got another enchantment back in your hand. Then we have Amiria Shepherd. It's gonna be fuck. 7 mana, 4/4. Has flying and landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may return target non-land permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. If that land is a plains, you may return that non-land permanent card to the battlefield instead. So here's some good recursion. You're gonna be playing plains. This other than one, all of your mana base is plains in this deck. So you play a plains. You get another non-land permanent on the battlefield. So you can keep recursion. If you couldn't get your protection out, you couldn't blink something, it's fine. Here's a way to recur that. So let's see. We have removal. We have 10 removal spells. This deck might could use more. Might could use more removal, but hey, we're trying to protect you. This removal is just to get rid of key pieces or as a form of retaliation, stuff like that. So you have Abolish. It's 3 mana. You may discard a plains from your hand instead of playing Abolish mana's cost, destroy target artifact or enchantment. You can use 2 mana for ally. I don't know. Destroy target enchantment. You can also do a buyback where you pay 3 mana to keep getting it back. Or a blast, pay 2 mana, destroy target enchantment, and draw a card. It's always nice. You have Bovine Intervention. You can pay 2 mana, destroy target artifact or creature. Its controller keeps a 2/2. Yeah, whatever. We don't care about that fucking token. We have Clear. 2 mana, destroy target enchantment. You can also cycle it to draw a card. Curse Break. 2 mana, destroy target enchantment. You gain 2 life. Demystify. 1 mana, destroy target enchantment. Disenchant. Pay 2 mana, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Then you have Leave No Trace, 2 mana, destroy target enchantment, each other enchantment that shares a color with it, which is kind of crazy. Which you can try to protect yours from stuff like that as well. But if somebody's not playing white and you blow up a red enchantment, well, anybody with red enchantments, this is the red enchantments. There you go. And then we have Liquimetal Coating. It's 2 mana. You can tap it, target permanent becomes an artifact. So that's where you can. So you can see I don't really have any like destroy target creature. Well, because I can just do this and then destroy it. To make it into an artifact and destroy it with that, or destroy it with that, something like that, destroy it with that. So yeah, that's where that kind of comes in. It can be situational, but hey, it's a more fun way around doing shit and having really cheap ways to do stuff. So we have our stacks piece, quote unquote, an Aven Mind Sensor. It's 3 mana, flash, flying. If an opponent will search a library, that player searches the top 4 cards of the library instead. Again, this can shut down tutoring pretty well, so that's good. Alright, we have tokens. Darksteel Slicer, 7 mana. It's a 1/1. Whenever Darksteel Slicer or another non-token for X enters the battlefield under your control, create an X colorless golem, artifact creature tokens, or X number of opponents you have. Golems you control up indestructible. Yeah, we're just going to be blinking this bitch. I don't think I have any other Phyrexians in this lineup at all, but we're just going to blink and blink and blink and blink and blink and just keep creating them, and they all have indestructible, and then we can buff them, and we can buff them, and we can buff them, and yeah. So there we go. That's always fun. Elspeth Tyrell. We have 5 mana. It's a Planeswalker. You get a +2. You gain 1 life for each creature you control. Remember, we're creating tokens. We're getting a life off them now. We can do -2. You can create 3 tokens. 3 1/1 White Order creature tokens. Then you can do 5. Destroy all other permanents except for lands and tokens. So that can be a fucking board wipe in its own right. And if you have 20 tokens that have permanent +5/+5 on them, you can just start swinging out on people like a madman. You can also protect certain things. You can also use your ally up here to blink them motherfuckers and blink him. Give them all indestructible before all your creatures indestructible before you blow it up. Elspeth Sun Champion, 6 mana. +1, create 3 1/1 white soldier creature tokens. -3, destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. -7, you get an emblem with creatures you control, get +2/+2 and have flying. I've gotten this emblem off a couple times in a different deck, and I fucking just love that. It can, in some cases, can just be the game finisher. It's like, yeah, well, I have all these tokens that are 20, I have 20 or 30 tokens, which I've had before, that are already, +4/+4s. Now they're +6/+6, and they all have flying, and you don't have reach. So, get shit on. So there you go. Evangel of Heliod. It's a 6-mana 1/3. Whenever it enters the battlefield, create a number of 1/1 white soldier creature tokens equal to your devotion to white, which is this little symbol here. Well, again, you can blink his ass, and then you come back. You have 6 devotion. You can create 6 tokens. You blink them, you come back. You blink them, you come back. You just keep creating tokens. So that's part of the blinking there strategy, and you can protect them as well. God Eternal Okatra. You have 5 mana, 3/6. I'm sorry, I am yawning. Oh my god. Double strike. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 4/4 black zombie warrior creature token with vigilance. Whenever it dies or is put into exile, from the battlefield, you may put it into the owner's library there from the top. This is just a reoccurring 3/6 that can keep has double strike and potentially keep creating you more tokens if you keep casting creature spells along with it. So just hey, cool value. You have a permanent way to create tokens that will get gassed out if you run out of other creatures, but that typically doesn't happen. Gwahir, Greatest of the Eagles. It's a 5 mana, 5/5. Flying, whenever it attacks, target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. Beginning of each end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, create a 3/3 white bird creature token with flying. Whenever this creature attacks, target attacking creature gains flying until end of turn. So you get a 3/3 token that gets the same. Hey, I can give flying to another creature that ends turn. So you can give your tokens or any other creature really flying as well. That's beneficial. Flying is nice. A lot of people don't play flying or have reach all the time, or they have limited amounts of it. So, and in this deck, you should be gaining, once you get rolling, more than 3 life a turn for sure. And that 3 life can, excuse me, that more than 3 life can buff these guys based on the other guy that gives 1/1 counters based on the amount of life you gain. We have Hoofprints of the Stag, 2 mana. Whenever you draw a card, you may put a hoofprint counter on Hoofprints of the Stag, which again we have a lot of card draw options here, so that can be more useful. Then you can pay 3 mana, remove 4 of the counters from it, and then create a 4/4 white elemental creature token with flying, activate only during your turn. So again, now you get 4/4s with flying, and we should be drawing cards enough to put Hoofprints on these things once you get rolling to get this. So 2 mana, not bad, and it was different. I hadn't really seen this before, so it was fun. Lina, Selfless Champion, 6 mana, 3/3. When Lina, Selfless Champion enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token for each non-token creature you control. Sacrifice Lina. Creatures you control with power less than Lina's power gains a destruction until end of turn, which is nice. That's awesome. So, let's see. Create a 1/1. Yeah, so, again, just another token build, and you can use her to give things indestructible. So, it's always nice. Our last card is Rabble Rousing. 5 mana. Hideaway. When this enchantment enters battlefield, look at the top 5 cards of your library. Exile 1 face down. Put the rest of the battle in random order. Whenever you attack with 1 or more creatures, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. Then if you control 10 or more creatures, you may play the exile cards without paying its mana card. So this is a way for you to maybe get one of your finishers out for cheaper, or one of those higher mana cost cards out for nothing. And save it, for later to put the whoop ass on somebody, right? So yeah, that's fun. But you're creating a fuckload of tokens as you attack. Your tokens will start creating more tokens as they attack. That's just how it works, and it'll start snowballing. So that's the end of the deck. This might be a longer video altogether. I don't know, but that's the end of it. That's what we've got. Please give your opinions in the comments. If there's cards you think should be replaced, maybe like these 2 here, please feel free to put that in. Maybe there's other little niche fucking card draw options or ramp options that I don't know about that you guys do. Feel free to put them in the comments, correct me, or say, hey, I think this would be better in this situation. I think this card would be better fit for this deck than this card is. But again, this is a budget build. The budget does come out to $67 if you take out the basic lands. It's $54.81. That's pretty reasonable, I think, for a commander deck, and it's a bracket 2 technically, whatever that means. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be looking forward to trying to do a green, or not a green, a black and red builds, mono black, mono red in the future. Red's gonna give me trouble. I'm not the best with red by itself, and I don't play black at all. So I'm also probably gonna make a really shitty black deck, but I also think that'll be a fun experiment since I don't really look at black that much to really filter through it and see if I can't come up with something fun. So hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you like the stuff. Please comment. Remember, this is just me sitting at my computer just talking some shit and having a good time going over these deck builds. This is low key. Throw this fucking video into the background while you're doing something else. Maybe you'll hear something cool. Maybe it's just noise. That's fine with me. I don't care. But I hope you enjoy. Come back next time for another build here soon and have a good one.